chance to be rude.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head.
Hello everybody and welcome back to our channel. My name is The Wolf and thank you so much for coming to join us today. So here on the channel we are playing a new game as well as going through our other series on other games. We have got Transport Fever 2, the Deluxe Edition. So we're actually going to be setting up a bit of a challenge on this one. So which we will go into very shortly, but first of all we're going to go in and do free game. We are going to go into a large map, a very large map, a 1x1. It's going to have a medium on towns and industries. So these here are all industries and these are all the towns slash city. If you're wanting to come and join us, and please take note of that there, it is case sensitive as well, so do take a note. And then also let's go into the next one. We're going to be starting from 1850. It's on an easy difficulty, but there is going to be things which is going to make it just a little bit harder, and that for us. And we can go up to 6 cargo types in the towns. And of course the industry never closes, and also the density target is medium, so we're going to then get starting on that, and we're also going to keep it in Europe as well. Okay guys, so we are here on the map. So what is going to make this more interesting, like you could be like thinking to yourself, like, because it's on easy mode, of course we've got like 5 million in the account, so what actually makes this more difficult overall? Well, what makes it more difficult is that we can only use certain things. So we're not allowed to use air, so such as airlines and stuff like that, and also sea, so literally like all your boats and stuff. The only thing what we can technically use, and I would like to just to very quickly explain this, is that we can only use cargo trains to pick up from a cargo area, drop it off, pick up, drop off, pick up, drop off, to go into the necessary towns and etc. The only thing what is actually going to be different on the cargo side is when we like, oh, got a bit too far there. So let's have a look at Patchway here. So like in Patchway, we can have a train station coming in, might to drop everything off, but we're not allowed to use road vehicles to go from let's say from the fuel refinery here over to Patchway. So we got to use then cargo trains to go over to drop off. Now inside the Patchway, we can actually place in a cargo pickup area depending whereabouts of the area needs to go. So such as in here, which is of the industry area, and for the fuel and etc. If the train automatically connects up to that point, and then we don't need to use road vehicles. But we can use road vehicles in the area like this here to get people from certain locations over to the train station so they can go out on a journey. Now yet again, we're not allowed to use road vehicles to go from town to town, so such as from Patchway over to Featherstone. We've got to use a PX train, which is the passengers train. So literally the only places for the road usage is only within the towns, and everything else is all got to be done by trains. So we've got to really think now is how can we make enough money to get this running fully. Now I know that we've got Patchway there, it's needing fuel, and also Featherstone here is needing fuel, but is there a way or anywhere closer to this area here? Well, technically yes, because it's actually quite a way for this. So we can actually bring in all our crude oil from like here down to here, bring this down to the fuel refinery, and bring it all the way back up again into Featherstone, for instance. Or we can actually bring it from over this end and bring it down this way, and then split it off into like Burnley, Patchway, and etc. So there is actually like a number of different ways that we can do this, and we can also then set up or try and plan a route for the PS, the passenger trains as well, to come on through. Now we've got to try and plan this as perfectly as we can, because at the end of the day, right, yeah, we can't be having too much of the unnecessary crossover between certain things. Now I would love to bring these here down to here and bring it round, then bring it round on the outside into like Featherstone kind of area. That is probably what I'm going to be doing. Now there is closer places here, but that's fine, because at the end of the day it's just the way that I try and plan for furthest point to bring it in, as well as thinking about the closest areas, as well as thinking about what do I actually need to bring in to make sure I can make the necessary money back. So this is what we're going to be doing. I can turn around and say that spacebar is pause and non-pause, which is great. So yeah, so let's have a quick look at what we can do. So I always like to try and deal with the fuel first, because that normally makes the most money for this. And it's actually now trying to plan a way to get it from up here initially to then bring it down. But don't forget, we still got to think about trying to get a passenger train system coming around. So we've got to really think about that. Now we could actually start it from like Buxton area and bring it up this way, and then bring like Buxton over to Middleham and bring it over this way. So that's a possibility there. Now if we do that, there is going to be some form of crossover, unfortunately, but that's just one of those things what we need to try and work out what is going to be the best way for it. So I would love to go for this one up here and bring it round, but I think I may have to bring it from like up here, from Blackburn, Orwell, all the way down, and bring it round and bring it back up again. So that is probably what I'm actually going to do on this. Now how can we initially get this to come round without having to go through the mountains and pay a fortune? So what we do is we pop into the road area. Okay, eventually we'll pop into the road area. I like to get rid of the roads from the resource what I'm getting all the way up as far as possible. Next I will upgrade, but the player ownership is no, and then we can go to there, and then what we can then do is bring this over and spend that like 10,000 to there, pop into the trains over to the buildings, and then I'm going to then get let's get a cargo station like this, because of what we're needing to do with this. So we could actually do it this way and potentially so let's do that here. So let's just zoom in very quickly. Okay, then cargo station there straight away, and then we're needing to do this up here as well. So back into the destruction, delete these roads here because we don't need them. Onto there, let's make it at least pretty kind of situation. Straight into here, and we're then actually going to go then with a terminal station, okay, which only goes like one way in, one way out. And what we then do is here, because we're needing it to come down this way, then around for this. So what we're going to be doing is we are actually going to find a way to put this in. Okay, we're going to place this in like this. So I'm going to do it there, go over to the tracks, and then get this sorted out. So we're needing to try and get this to at least 75 miles an hour because of the fact that that is something what we're needing to try and keep aware of. It doesn't matter about initially building a tunnel, that's fine now and again, but we're wanting to try and keep this as level as we can possibly get it. So bring it round like this here, and bring this round to here, then here down to here, and keeping it all at 75 miles an hour. Now what I like to do is to bring in an extension road here, okay, and then we then go round like this, and for this to then get sorted. This here would actually help us to get at least our second train initially, and a third and a fourth, fifth train onto there. Here we're actually going to come straight through the tunnel. Our next job is here, it's just to make sure that it's not overlapping on the tunnels, which it's not. And then what we can then do then is bring this into here, bring this here to here, and bring this straight into here. Now our signals, what we're going to do is, okay, is going to spin it round, and what we're wanting to do here is that we're wanting the trains to go that way for this. So we're going to place that there, place that there. We concentrate on this kind of situation where it like goes through one way. And now it doesn't matter about this tunnel being so long, because at the end of the day there will be enough time for the trains to come round. And what we then do is very quickly place a couple like this. Now we will need to get a loan, okay, straight away to manage this, but it's like I said, we can only use trains to deal with the cargo and our passengers. So it works out more expensive, but actually in terms it's actually not really that bad if you really think about it, because you can get things moved so much more quicker with this. And then we've got one there, and we then got one there like that. So now we've got that sorted out, okay, we're needing to now try and think, how are we going to get the trains down here with enough time for that to then fill up. So what we do is here, okay, we're going to bring this round like this, and we're actually going to bring that to there, bring this round, okay, like this here, bring this up, and then bring this into there. Here we're actually going to do a crossover. Here we're actually going to do a very quick crossover to this side. So then we've got that sorted. We then go back into our buildings, and we then need to get the train depot. So the train depot will allow us to bring in the trains straight in. Now thankfully this here downwards, and I actually need to put my phone on silent. I actually forgot to do that today. There we go. Hold on. Right, so we do need to get that sorted out as quickly as possible. Now what's going to happen is here, I know that I need in 3.2 million, so I'm actually going to put this job to 3.5. Or is it 3.4? I'm not too sure. I keep forgetting. So I'm going to click onto the train depot, onto buy vehicles. We've got all these here, but we're going to click Steam. We're going to add one Steam train on, down to cargo, and we're wanting to pick this bottom one here for tank car. And automatically we're going to go up to 50. So from 50 there, we're going to go up to 2 trains, and we're then going to place that in. Next we're going to get a new line. So our new line is going to go from here down to here. Make sure that this is going backwards and forwards to where we want it. Yep, that's fine, and that's fine there. Yeah, okay, so that's awesome. So here we're actually then going to go into so Blackburn to Buxton, and this is open brackets crude oil, close. What I do want to just do is it's just put like a little line there, and this is then going to be open close train. Okay, so that's going to be there, and we're then going to make that of a black colour to represent the crude oil. Now we need to come back into here. We're automatically going to be adding a 1 train on straight away, and we're then going to get this started. So the only reason why that we do that is to make sure we can actually make sure that this here is going to be filled up with enough resources. So before I actually release that other one, this needs to be around here far enough, and it then should be around about 100 before that time. So click back onto here, click this one here, make sure that reaches up to about 100. Then we can release it, which would then give it to around about the right amount of time for that. So I'm actually going to release that now. So that will be then fine there. Now we could get some more money, another 3.2, because we have got enough leeway for that. So I will do that actually, because what we want in a 3.4 initially. So what we're going to do there is that we're going to come back into here, we're going to click this here, and we're then going to duplicate those first 2 trains. We wanting to make sure that we can pick up enough from here and get them up to here to make money straight away. This route here should produce us roughly around about 700 to 750,000 in-game dollars. So when this is actually rolling on and we've constantly got trains picking up and moving, that would be then great. So I know that this one won't take too long now to come down here, because it's reasonably on flat ground anyway. Yes, we are in the red. That's fine. That's fine, because what we are actually looking at here is if this can actually produce enough money by the end of the year, right, we will be able to actually make enough cash on a year by year basis. So this is just going past the depot area. This may not get down here on time by the end of the year, but that's okay, because you normally your first year you don't actually really make too much money, especially by doing it this way. And it's like I said, it is a very expensive way of starting the game, but actually it is one of the quickest ways that you are going to make money instead of having all carts. So trying to get that process started with it, that is really quite important. So this is actually going to be coming in now, and then we're actually going to just zoom in a little bit. I think this should be due to around about 750,000. Right, just shy of 790,000, right, which is amazing. And then we've got our next one coming in. Okay, and this here shouldn't be no more than around about 250,000. And we've then got these other two chains coming in as well. So we should have a nice, beautiful amount there. And of course, when we go from here to bring it over to here, we do need to make sure we've got a long enough train, just one, but enough coming into here to a point where we can still produce 450 every time. So one train would actually produce 25 all to be then transferred over to the fuel, and with that we then should be fine. So let's have a quick look here on what we've actually got here. So we've actually got our railway. We've actually done a 1.5 million, almost 1.6 million of turnover, okay, for the year. That's great, because we then should be actually aiming for around about 3 million. So 3 million on a yearly basis should be then just enough for that. Now what we are going to try and do is that this 10 million here, we're wanting to try and get that cleared within a certain amount of time. So we're actually going to get that started now as soon as possible, because even if we've actually got enough to get another train on, which we can easily do, we can do that, but that might be a possible case that we may need to do that, but we're still not making enough for us to do that though properly. So we just got over 3.1 million there. So this here should be making enough income for us to maximize on everything fully. So we've got our first train coming back down again, and yes, it may take a couple of moments and that for everything to start working out properly, but actually it's not really that bad overall. Keeping in mind we have actually invested actually 1.5 million to pay back the loans slowly, but we do want to try and get this year cleared by ideally the 1860s to get that sorted. Now what you can do as well, if you really wanted to, if you wanted to slow a pace, you could actually slow it down, pause it and etc. So I'm just going to keep it on one speed. I know you can actually speed it up to two and etc. So with this, the way that we're actually doing it, it is a bit of a challenge right here, because you do have to then figure out is like, how can I actually make enough income for everything to what I'm actually doing. Now this is where it's going to be very, very interesting, right? Because we don't have the money to really expand actually fully, but at the end of the day we should have enough money to compensate with everything else what we're wanting to do. So we should be making, I would probably say actually around about 2 million by the end of the year hopefully. So do keep in mind that this year is still a lot of money to really actually consider, and we're still running at a shortage right now. So we do have to really think about, is it worth doing trains straight away? Personally, yes. because at the end of the day, it's just one of those things. And we still got the other 2 trains coming down somewhere and somewhere. Yeah, so we've got one here, we've got one there coming in afterwards, and we've got one soon after. So in reality, we do actually have enough basis on this here. So like I said, it's 789,000 every single time coming in. Now I think maybe like on the next 2 trains we will probably use that to help us to get another train on, to maximize everything up a bit more. But it all depends if we can actually get enough money actually turning over within the first year. Now we should be making money from the beginning of the year ideally on this, and that's what we are going to try and do every single time, is to make money every single year, because the actual amount what we do need, especially with lack of earnings to expenditure base, it is really difficult. And it's like I said, we can't use water or air on this, and we can't use road to transport goods unless it's actually within the town. And it's also like the situation of, can we actually get enough money to then potentially use PATS trains or PX trains, which is then all your passenger trains. And so it is really quite an interesting prospect on this. Now we could possibly move this back up to there. I think that might be like the best case for us, just to at least get our first initial bit there. Now we could go in to buy a vehicle straight away, to try and get this as down close to the amount what we can actually afford. We do have a train going in at this moment of time, so we should, fingers crossed, we should actually have enough to do for full 450. Now as you might have noticed that I took one off on that because it goes into poor. We want in it at a mediocre. So the top speed of this here is at 31 miles an hour, but the top speed on the train itself, the engine itself, is actually 25 miles an hour. So that's what we're needing to try and really work out as well. But as soon as we start going into all our faster trains, it will be a lot more noticeable with that. The trains up here will be stopping at the lights a little bit, because of the fact that we've actually got 5 trains on. 5 trains here is still a 15-minute, it's a 3-minute process right now still, and we're needing that down as best as possible to around about 1 minute or so, or less than 60 seconds. That means that we do need to have a possibility of around about 15 trains on this one track, and that's what we're needing to really consider with. So ideally the area what we are looking at is 1860 to clear all the debt off. If it's a little bit past that, that is perfectly fine, because don't forget we've actually spent 1.7 million on actually buying a train. So it is a really one of those processes where we need to really get this starting fully and properly. And it's like this year we were a little bit short there on that because we didn't manage to get the last training for the year. This one here from like 51, that was actually really good year. But now that we got a new train on, we should be able to make more money on a year by year basis, and that is what our aim is on this. So I'm not going to repay back the loan as such at this moment of time, until we've actually definitely got like the 10 million amount, and that's what we actually need. That will probably take like a couple of like in-game years, but yet again we do need enough income to have a process to actually make money properly, and this is what we really needing to try and like figure out on. So what our next stage is, so these episodes are going to be a bit long, but not really much actually going on at first. So now we've got this going on, we need to bring this train over to here, okay, then bring this around into Featherstone area, okay. We could then, if we wanted to, is to come into Featherstone on well, bring this down, okay, onto here, come back down here for a little bit, then we can actually drop off fuel right to here, then pick up the fuel and bring it back up again. So we've actually got like a double whammy type situation. We could easily do that if we wanted to, but we might actually just bring it past Blackburn area and bring it up into Featherstone, and that's what we might really literally consider with at this moment of time. So yeah, that is going to be like an initial process with that, to make sure that we got that, so we can actually start making some more money coming through. And literally it's like I said, we do have to really think very carefully what our next moves are going to be, because we don't want to over spend on certain stuff fully, and we do need to make sure that we're actually getting everything as best covered as possible. I think this year might actually be our best year so far, I think. So let me just pop into here very quickly, bring this over to here. We're still before December. We've got 3.15 there, same as 51 year. We are making more money now. Now to get this here, by the way, you need to come into the account down here, over to the bottom left, and we can actually do that there. I will go more into these two areas here, which is the vehicles and the trains, because we wanting to make sure that we've got that as best covered, to give you guys the full details on that. So it's like I said, this episode might be like 30-minute going up to like an hour episode on this one, and when it's all been sorted and edited, but we are going to come back onto this to then deal with our actual expansion onto this. So let's just have a quick look here. Yeah, so what we will do is we will work out the best route for the O2 fuel, and then try and then figure out if it's actually going to be worthwhile actually doing straight away, or if it would be then best putting more trains onto this route to get this built up. So there is a couple of options there for that. So until the next time anyway, everyone, please do take care, look after yourselves, and like I said, if you're not already subscribed already to the channel, please do subscribe down below, turn on the notification bell so that you can then be notified when we upload brand new videos onto the channel. And if you're wanting to see our content before anyone else, please do join our members area, because all of our videos will be going on there, and for all of our members to see first before them being placed over to be in public view. So till then, everyone, we see you all later. And yet again, my name is the Wolf, and it's a ciao for now. Bye.
your chance to be ruthless.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead.